What's up, guys? Skippy Africanus here, and welcome back to another Cartridge of the Week episode, this week featuring a rather popular cartridge whose origins are actually rather mysterious, that cartridge being the 3840 Winchester. So now, before we get into this cartridge's history, use, and all that stuff, we will first do what we always do and take a look at the headstamp, which on the top we can see W-W. This of course stands for the manufacturer, Winchester Western, and on the bottom we see 38-40 Win, standing for, of course, the caliber, 3840 Win. Now this round, though a very popular round in cowboy action shooting, has a lot of mystery to it. For starters, you'll see people saying that it came out in 1874, whereas others will argue that it released much later in around 1879. Already setting up the stage for rather weird origins because, well, we've gone over plenty of cartridges from this time period, and there's never really an argument with dates. Regardless, though, what we do know is that the first gun to be chambered for this cartridge would be the Winchester Model 1873, and then it would later follow with many patterns of revolvers as well as lever actions from companies such as Colt. Now, to add to the mystery, it's not exactly known why this cartridge even came out in the first place, given it performs fairly close to a 4440, being only slightly less powerful, with the only speculation really being that perhaps Winchester just wanted to get a cartridge that performed similar to the 4440, yet had a little less recoil. At least that does seem to be the general consensus. However, regardless of reason, the cartridge would take off and wind up being chambered in plenty of different lever action rifles as well as revolvers. And although it wouldn't top the 4440 in popularity, it would definitely come in as a good runner-up for the most preferred intermediate cartridge. Around 1937, however, popularity of the 3840 would start to see a decline, along with many other black powder chamberings. However, with the advent of cowboy action shooting in the 80s, the 3840, like many other old-school cowboy cartridges, would see a revival in popularity, with companies even beginning to release new guns in the caliber that nearly saw its end decades earlier. And today, the cartridge continues to actually be a fairly popular round among cowboy action shooters in particular. One thing that should be noted is, although they did make plenty of revolvers in the chambering back in its first stream of popularity, the ammunition was loaded a lot more hot and was spec'd out for rifle-length barrels back in the day. Today, however, given its primary usage in revolver, a lot of the ammo loaded is more spec'd for the shorter-length revolver barrels. Now, we've already mentioned the mysterious origins of the cartridge. However, there is one more rather odd thing about it, and that is the naming of the round itself. You see, despite the 38 designation, the bullet diameter is actually 0.4005 of an inch. Now, this isn't necessarily a new thing for a bullet's diameter in its name to be different from the true bullet diameter, but as to why this one is specifically called a 38, there appears to be no solid reason for it. I did see someone speculate that what could be the case is that rather than have the bullet diameter first and the powder charge second, as was typical for American cartridge naming back in the day, they actually flipped it around, and the naming for the 3840 actually signifies 38 grains of powder with a 40 caliber bullet. And while modern casings tend to fit only around 32 grains, older casings do appear to have a greater powder volume and will fit 38 grains of 3F powder without much issue. Granted, this is all speculation that I saw from one guy in a forum, but you do gotta admit that 3840 flows off the tongue a lot better than 4038. All that being said, how exactly does this cartridge perform? So now, this is a modern example, so we'll go more off the modern loads, which on average feature a 180 grain bullet flying at around 1160 feet per second. Kind of similar to a 40 Smith & Wesson of a similar loading. Anyways, I think that is going to do it for this week's Cartridge of the Week episode featuring the 3840. I hope y'all enjoyed the video as much as I personally enjoyed making it, and I will see y'all next time.